Hi again, everyone. Lesson 3-4 for this evening, exponents. You are going to be learning tonight how to use exponents to show repeated multiplication. Lots of learning goals tonight. Be ready to write. First learning goal, identify the base. You're going to think of the base as, let's see, a base like a basement that holds up your house, a base in cheerleading, a base in cheerleading that holds up the girls, the base, the trunk of the tree that holds up the tree, the legs on a desk. So the base is very strong. The exponent is just an instructional number. So identify the exponent. Write a number using exponential notation. Write a base and exponent in expanded form, and write a base and exponent in standard form. Take a minute, please write all 5 learning goals. I know it's a lot of writing and you guys always like to do that, but take a minute, write all 5 learning goals in your math spiral. Pause the video and restart it when you're ready. All right, vocabulary, we have 3 vocab words. I know it seems like a lot of writing, but when it comes to the math, you won't have as much to do tonight. So take a minute, I want you to write all of these down. They're really important to do. Exponential notation. Kind of cool because lots of people don't do this kind of math until they're in middle school or even high school, so it's kind of like algebra. So exponential notation, using a base number and an exponent to show repeated multiplication of the base. Base, the number to be multiplied by itself. This is the number that we write. And the exponent is the number that tells how many times the base is multiplied by itself. The exponent tells us how many times to write the base number. Write those down, pause the video, begin again when you're ready. Please don't skip. Take a minute and write all of them down. All right, examples of exponents. Let's take a minute to do this because you're going to write down the exponential form, the expanded form, and the standard forms for all of these examples. All right. So you'll hear, when you're doing exponential form, you'll hear it said 4 to the 6th power. So we're going to think of it like this. So when you hear 4 to the 6th power, it is written this way, 4 to the 6th power. This number at the top right here, that is your the 6 is your exponent. This is your base, this is your exponent. So in exponential form, this right here is exponential form. Expanded form, so this is exponential form, okay? Expanded form, I guess I'll put an O-N so you don't get confused. Expanded form then is you take this and you write it out however many times the power tells you to. Now remember, the exponent is simply an instructional number. It just tells us what to do with the base number. You don't actually write this 6 anywhere. Remember that. An instructional number, it just tells you what to do with the base number. So it tells you to take that 4 and you're going to multiply the base number by itself however many times this instructional number tells you to. So you're going to take 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 4 to the 6th power. This is written in expanded form. We have multiplied it 6 times, which is what our exponent tells us to do. Now in standard form, that simply means we need to give it an answer. So we need to think 4 times 4 is 16. We can do this a couple different ways. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16. But now I have to take those numbers and multiply those together. So it's a lot of multiplying. So let's think over here. 16 times 16, it's going to be a big number. 6 times 6 is 36. I'm going to carry my 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9. Bring down my 0 because I've used the numbers in the 1 columns. Now 1 times 6 is 6 and 1 times 1 is 1. To add those together, I've got 6, 9 plus 6 is 15, carry my 1, 256. But I'm not done because I still have 16 over here. I shouldn't have written so big because now over here I'm going to have to come over here and do 256 times 16. I have to finish multiplying this out. 6 times 6 is 36, carry my 3. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 3 is 33. I think I need lines. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. Add a little 0 here. 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. And 1 times 2 is 2. Now I add all those together. I'm going to get 6, because 6 plus 0 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 5 plus 5 is 10. Carry my 1. And 2 plus 2 plus this 1 that won't seem to write for some reason is 4. So believe it or not, 4 to the 6th power, where's my pen, is 4,096. Remember, the 6 is an instructional number. Let's try another one. All right, I want you guys to do this on your paper, and then I'll work the problem out. So take a minute and try 5 to the 3rd power. The 3rd power is also called cubed. So you guys take a minute, write 5 to the 3rd power, pause the video. I want you to write it in exponential, expanded, and standard form. Pause the video. When you're ready, start it again, and we'll see if we did the same thing. All right, let's see if we did the same thing. So 5 to the 3rd power is written 5 cubed. 5 cubed. Now, that's exponential form. It also is, in expanded form, is 5 times 5 times 5. Remember, an instructional number, it tells us what to do with the base number. Then I have to look at this. So standard form means what's the answer to 5 cubed? So I'm going to look at 5 times 5 is 25. Then I also have to multiply it by this 5. So now 25 times 5, I have to do that also. 5 times 5 is 25 again, carry my 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 125. So 5 to the 3rd power. This is written exponentially, expanded, and standard form is 125. Did you get those? Good job. Let's try one more. All right. 6 to the 2nd power, or 6 squared, is another way to say that. Now, let me explain to you why they say 6 squared before I put you on your own. It says 6 squared because, actually, I'll tell you in a minute. Take a time, because if I show you, it'll give away the answer. So write it exponentially, expanded, and standard. Pause the video. When you're ready, start it again, and then I'll give you the answer. All right, let's look at this. So exponential, and let's go again. Here we go. Okay, exponential. 6 to the 2nd power. This is your base. This is your exponent. Remember, the 2 is just instructional. So expanded form, 6 times 6. If I multiply 6 times 6, my standard form is 36. Now let me show you why they call it 6 squared. Because if you were to demonstrate and draw a picture for me, and I'm not very good at this, I'm not really an artist, and you were to lay out some cubes, let's see, and like I said, not very good at this, especially with this crazy pen, and forget it. Anyway, if you had a square and there were 6 rows and 6 columns, it would make a perfect square with 6 across and 6 down. Pretend that's a perfect square. I should have put one on here. Anyway, if you had a perfect square, that's what it would look like. 6 across, 6 down, and it would be a perfect square, and that's why it's called 6 squared. This obviously not a perfect square. Okay, that's why it's called 6 squared. So give yourself a pat on the back if you got all of those right, and if you're a much better artist than me. All right, let's look at your challenge problem. Barbara has a packing carton that is 14 inches long, 14 inches wide, and 14 inches tall. What would the volume of the packing carton be? Show the number of cubic inches the carton holds in exponential notation, expanded form, and standard form. Do this in your math journal, and you can check your challenge problem in class tomorrow. All right, review your learning goals for me. Have you mastered them? Do you have your practice problems and your answers written in your journal for your teacher to check tomorrow? Write down if you're a 1, 2, or a 3 in your learning. And in your journal, write down 1 or more questions you may have about today's lesson. Hopefully I did it really well and you don't have too many questions. And great job tonight. And good work on lesson 3-4, and you are finished for the evening. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.